Good to go. Okay, then shuffle up indeed. If you're interested in the link for the Twitch, it is here. Then your friends can see you play. If you want to share it on your social media, please do so. Thank you.
Hello guys and welcome back to the Cash Game Festival. Day 3 of 5 here this week in Bucharest, Romania, and it's a pleasure to have you guys joining us once again for some 2-5 No Limit Hold'em. So the sequence of events so far this week has been we have the PLO 4-5 card stream starting early, and then the 2-5 a little bit later on, and tomorrow we are going to have 3 streams. I'll get the information on that for you very shortly. So Carol popping it up to 20 under the gun with King 10 offsuit. Seems a little bit on the wider side. I'm not sure how many players are playing. We've got the full table, so I'd probably just open fold that one, to be honest. Gets a call out of Stefan in the small blind with pocket 8s. Certainly a board that Carol's going to be continuing on here. Wants to apply some pressure to pocket pairs. Get King Queen and King Jack to fold, things like that. A lot of good things that can come from a bet. Does bet and takes it down. So tomorrow we've got 1-3 Texas Hold'em at 5, PLO 5 card 5-5 at 7:30, and Svitan Special Draw Mahar at 10 o'clock. So there you see the chip counts, people buying in between 100 and 200 big blinds. We're going to see some action there. We got the Christian Georgi there in seat 4, the famous for the 7-2 offsuit bluff on the final table of the EPT. Got himself in there for a free roll, and he's got about 100 bags locked up. Just ends up absolutely sticking it in Jazonis's eye with the 7-2. Pretty much a no equity 3-bet and barrel off. And got it through, shows the table and shouts, "I am Georgi, king of the mountains." So you can't really get much better the content than that on what was a fairly stacked final table of the EPT. Got a smile out of David Peters as well, which is no mean feat. So here what we got, Christian flops top pair with the ace-9 off. Tudorek has middle pair, and Stefan has the backdoor nut flush draw. Christian's certainly going to be calling 1 bet here. And no help to Tudorek on the turn. Looks like he's going to turn his hand into a double barrel bluff. Maybe trying to target some of those weaker aces to get them to fold by the river. From what we've seen of Christian so far, he's a bit of a sticky customer. Certainly not the person I'd be targeting on the table. When we do have some showdown value versus flush draws as well, but nevertheless gets to the river, doesn't improve once again, and a bit of an odd hand there. Christian takes it down with the ace-9, and Tudorek mucks the pair of 8s. So fairly useless statistics there, as we have only played 2 hands. Well, a bunch of nits at the bottom there, Stefan, Connor and Carol. So looking around the table, you've got Carol there, who's from Bratislava, one of the regs that we have come across in our travels at the Cash Game Festival. We've been in Bratislava twice this year. He was very much a part of that, and he won a package, I believe, so he has followed us over to Romania. Had some decent action in the 2.5. I was saying yesterday, the majority of the 2.5 streams that we've had from about 3 festivals before and before that were tended to be quite nitty, tended to be not a lot of action, just a lot of pretty decent solid regs, and this week it's been the complete opposite, so hopefully going to see some more big pots tonight. Tudor flopping himself. Both players have gut shots. Tudor has the backdoor club draw, and Stefan with the backdoor spades. Certainly going to be a board that we want to be continuing with. Pretty decent board actually for Ace-4 suited in general. One of the best ones that you can hope to find. Overcard, gut shot, backdoor flush draw. Queen on the turn. Shouldn't really help his opponent's range here, as hands like King Queen and Queen Jack are going to struggle to continue on the flop versus an uncapped range. So definitely a good barreling card. We can have Ace Queen, we can have King Queen, Queen Jack ourselves. Don't think our opponent will have much Queen X in that continuing range on the flop. However, does find the rivered straight anyway and gets a bet. Shouldn't ever have, your opponent's never got 6-4 suited in this spot, so just going to be an easy raise here, and probably will just be piling it in. Maybe hoping to get called by a slow played set on the flop like 3s, 5s or 10s. Certainly hands that his opponent can have, and does decide to shove, and it's just going to be a fold here from Tudor. Some players just snap fold here, some players like to save some face and pretend that they're thinking about it. Yeah, 5 seconds, that seems reasonable. So fairly inconsequential hand there. Christian just taking it down with the Ace-King pre-flop. Certainly doesn't need the Ace-King from what we saw yesterday. Splashing around in there, having fun, fresh off of that 220,000 euro profit that he did take down at the EPT Monte Carlo, in for nothing, out for the lot. Standard day in the life. So Christian once again finding a playable hand, 7-6 suited from +2, gets 3-bet by Sam with the pocket jacks on the button, and yeah, we've seen this before from him, not folding to 3-bets an awful lot, is quite deep stacked. And what a flop for Sam, flopping middle set, has his opponent drawing dead. You want to be going for medium size here, lots of continues on the flop. Something around the range of 50 to 60 I think is fine. 55, perfect, right in the middle of it. Deuce on the turn. And Christian might get himself into a bit of a leveling war, thinking that his opponent's going to have like Ace-King, Ace-10, 10-9. Any flush draw that he does beat. Doesn't beat an awful lot though. And takes it down with that turn bet.
Acesta este ultimul nivel pe ziua de astăzi.
So just waiting for the graphics to catch up.
1000, 2000.
To check. 8 bet 20. To raise 75.
So top pair versus middle pair situation. Tudor checking and Malente. Looks like quite a lot has gone in there. 75 has gone in on the flop somehow. As you can see, those green chips there, 25 each, reds 5 and blues 1. Tudor must have check raised the flop and got a call from Malente. The 4 is very inconsequential on the turn. Won't be improving either of both players' ranges. And a sticky customer is in seat 8 here, Malente, coming along for one more, and does improve to 2 pair on the river, getting there with the Queen 9. Tudor now shoving for one of the worst cards in the deck for him. Going for some razor thin value there against hands like Jack 10, 10-9, Jack 8, but a lot more hands improved than didn't. Queen X of clubs, Queen 10, King Queen. It was a bit of a disaster river, but he did fire it in there for the last 190, and I think a little bit thin, that's for sure.
Rebuy is seat 2. Four fold, 5 fold, 6 raise, 15, 7 fold, 8 fold.
Connor picking up the blades under the gun too, opening it up to 15, and looks like he's got absolutely no action. Pretty sick. Just scanning through the folded hands here. Jack 3, 10-4. Oh, Stefan didn't even defend the big blind with the 10-4 suited. Surprised to see that.
5 raise, 20, 6 fold, 7 fold.
Carroll with the suited ace under the gun, continuing with his 4x opening strategy. I think if you are going to have a 4x opening strategy, you do want to be a little bit tighter. Just because when you do get 3-bet in situations like this, you've got way too many hands and you're kind of wasting a big blind. So I think opening every suited ace under the gun is somewhat of a leak. Malente coming in with a 3-bet with King Jack, and Carroll calls. Both of them are 200 big blinds deep. Good flop for Malente here, flopping top pair. Does have backdoor hearts with the jack as well, and some backdoor straight possibilities. I think he still wants to be continuing though. We can get some hands like the nut flush draw 10x jacks to call one straight.
Much you play? Cheese. 6 fold, 7 fold. 8 raise, 15. 1 call. 2 fold. 3 fold. 4 fold. 5 fold. Heads up.
So Malente opening it up and running pretty well at present. Hit a lot of flops so far in only the few hands that we have played, and Tudorake here in seat 1 coming along with 6s on ace king 4. Interesting to say the least, versus an early position opener and c-better. I think we need to be letting the 6s go really, don't we? And Malente improving with a nut flush draw added to his arsenal on the turn, but just taking it down versus a rather questionable flop peel.
Da. 500. 500. 508, sit 2. 7 fold, 8 fold. 508.
So Tudorake seems like a bit of an action player from what we've seen so far, popping it up. With 8-7 offsuit. Popping it up to 20, the full 4x. Christian on the button with ace king. Going to come in for the 3-bet, looks like 80.
6 foot. Change, please. Fold. 1 fold.
And early chip counts looks like Sam, Malente and Christian slightly up on their €1,000 buy-ins. Connor as ever, having a natter at the table, having a good time. Not sure if they're on the red wine again. It was a very cozy bottle of red wine that Connor and Sam were sharing yesterday. So it looks like an open to 20 from Stefan in the hijack with the 9s. standard stuff and just takes it down pre-flop.
One fold.
Pre-flop.
Two fold. Three fold. Four raise.
Get the shots in. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Does seem a bit of a tepid start for the boys here. Although just saying that, we got the King 7 offsuit 4x in the hijack, of course. Connor will be pouncing on that for sure with the ace queen. And just a snap call. No, this guy does not fold to 3 bets.
Or check.
Connor flopping really well here. Top pair, backdoor flush draw. Goes for 50 and I like it. I don't think we need to size too big. Ooh, what's going on here? We've got the old check raise with the King 7 and a meaty looking stare down to go with it as well. That's not going to be working this time, fella. We saw him do something similar to this yesterday where he had Jack 9 offsuit and just went after his opponent on a Queen 4-3 board or something. Connor's just going to call. He knows the game. He's been watching Christian play yesterday on the same table. Jack on the turn spices things up a little bit as Christian does find some kind of equity with this King 7. Now has the open ender. Bets 200, which is under half pot. That's not really going to be a size that scares Connor. His opponent shouldn't really have any ace-king here, just flatting pre-flop. So really all he's representing is 10s or pocket 2s. Don't think we're going to be going anywhere, of course, once again. And the river might be an interesting decision. King on the river, so that locks it up for Connor. And Christian's probably thinking, well, my opponent does have a lot more aces than I do. This would be a real banana shove on the river if he does find it. But we never really know what this guy's up to. Goes for 300. Connor's all in and the game's up for Christian, unfortunately. He does at least save the 362 that he's got behind and a little smirk of recognition to the fact that he has just done in best part of 500 euros. There's no way he calls it off on some sort of weird... No! What's going on? Hey-ya. Connor with the eyebrows. That is one of the weirdest hands I've ever seen here at the Cash Game Festival. Enjoy your money there, Connor. 1,000 absolutely gift wrapped. Get the next flight over, bus. Jesus Christ. Bet calling the river. So, check raise with king high on the flop. No back doors. Well, he's got obviously he's got the back door straight, but check raises king high on the flop. Sort of stabs another 45% on the turn. Goes for a little blocker bet just to fold out, like, I guess, 2 pairs or maybe just representing the straight. Then gets raised and decides to call it off, beating pocket 8s. I think that's about the only hand Doesn't. I've got absolutely no idea what's going on. Locking up a seat for you two. Good lads, get yourself over here. It's an absolute carnival as well. It's great atmosphere in the city centre in Old Town. I definitely would recommend it. Carol, very solid player. Definitely someone that has pretty much a 3-bet or fold strategy pre-flop in these kind of positions. Don't see him doing too much cold calling. Does elect to go with the King Jack. A little bit on the wider side, isn't it? But potentially targeting Tudor here, who he might think is a recreational player. Tudor does have the best hand now, but is out of position, and Carroll's got a nice hand to start barreling with. King of Diamonds in there. He's got some backdoors, 2 overcards. Definitely want to be continuing here with pretty much our entire range on a 10-3-5. Yes, we don't 3-bet 3s and 5s, and our opponent, can have those hands. But in terms of overall equity, we do have the big advantage here. And Tudor not coming along for one with the backdoor flush draw, 2 overcards. Seems a little bit on the tighter side, but Carroll gets the job done there with a nicely timed 3-bet and c-bet bluff. Okay, so back to the action. Malinte popping it up with the King, Queen of Diamonds. Tudor defending with the 7-6. Does elect to check back his top pair this time, and is firing out a bet on the turn. His opponent improves to a double gutter, but just elects to let it go on the monotone board. Don't think there's too much wrong with that. It's been a nice couple of days for Conor Oldroyd there on the right of your screen. Just been absolutely gifted 1,000 from Christian in seat 4, and he won 1,700 or so yesterday, so I'm really pleased for him that he's managed to pull it back together. Has been having a little bit of a torrent time of late with his run, but is by all accounts a very good player and a good friend of mine, so it's nice to see him do well. Does pick up the King Kongs as well. Aces and Kings, didn't get any action with the aces last time, so he's going to hope that he gets a bite out of someone. It looks like Malinte is going to be 3-betting, and this could be a very big pot. Oh, Malinte, no, Sam's not 3-bet there with the 9-5, it's definitely Malinte. Okay, and Conor will be coming in for the 4-bet here. Carroll cold calls the pocket fours. Not too sure what's going on there. I guess he's thinking that they are super deep and Conor doesn't really have much of a 4-betting range in this spot. However, he is wrong in this instance, as Conor makes it 180 to go. A very healthy sizing. Malinte, if he's watched the stream over the last couple of days, should know that Conor is quite an aggressive player and he doesn't just have the nutted hands here. Oh, it looks like he was about to fold then with the ace king. I was thinking, surely that's not a play. Has called, and now Carroll's kind of got himself in a weird spot after the pretty unnecessary cold call pre to, you know, having a gamble and trying to hit the 4. Decides to just let it go. And it's going to be one of those spots for him where if he does see the 4, he's going to be a little bit steamy. Another good board for Connor here. His opponent picks up some equity with the gut shot as well. Elects to check. Gives Milinte a free card with the ace king, and it's a 7 on the turn, not changing much. I think Connor would probably want to start betting here. Yes, his opponent could have flattered him with aces pre. And queens would also check back the flop. He's really giving Milinte a free ride here. Interesting to go if see if he goes for one more check or bets himself, as Milinte is going to have the sort of hand that he has checking in position twice. It's mostly going to be centered around ace high, potentially pocket jacks. Bets 125. Problem is with this size, it's kind of hard for us to be bluffing. We should know that we have the best hand the vast majority of the time. So I think we can go a little bit bigger and just target those pocket jacks. Maybe pocket 9s is in there. I think it would be a little bit wide, 3-betting versus under the gun. And he does call off with the ace king. Does beat a couple of bluffs, like ace jack and some sort of hand like ace 5 suited. In clubs or diamonds that might clubs, yeah. Connor once again getting the cake, gets himself up to 2.3 thousand. And another nice spot for him, pretty much getting max value there. I think his opponent would have been continuing a bet on the flop, but tough to know out of position in those spots. And Christian, Mr. King 7 off. It looks like he's back in the mix with a fresh reload. Let's see how that fares this time. Carroll looks like he's opening Jack 10 off. Is he? Pops it up to 20 by the looks of things. Really going after it is our man Carroll. Gets a call from seat 1 and seat 2. Oh, and Christian's in there as well for the 20. Electing to check multi-way. I think when you are 2 or 3-handed, you can certainly have a stab, but there's just such a high likelihood of someone having an ace 4 ways that you want to be checking, despite the supreme range advantage you have over your opponents. Christian defending with the king 3, just electing to bet to try and deny some equity to flush draws on the turn, or So Carol in the small blind with 7-6 off pre-flop somehow. Might have had a night on the sauce last night, affecting some of that mental clarity going into the decision making. Has definitely been playing a little bit wider than I'm accustomed to when I've played with him in the past. Stefan continuing on the flop with his gut shot, and obviously if Carol does get to the river with this kind of hand, he absolutely needs to turn it into a bluff. And gets that one through, betting full pot and getting rid of the queen high, of course. King 6 under the gun, not going to be finding a way into the V-pip range. Tudor X had enough, he's off, and Stefan now in the hijack. Not sure why the cards haven't been picked up for him. However, Christian in the cutoff with Jack 10, he'll certainly be playing. Very much an action player. Gets rid of Sam in the big blind with Queen 9 versus the 4x. I don't think we want to be defending out of position versus someone that is, you know, on the more random side. Christian once again continuing with the relentless aggression, opening it up with the ace-3 offsuit in the hijack. Gets a defend out of Malente with the Queen 10. But Christian does flop pretty well for as far as it goes with the ace-3 offsuit. Flopping top pair and just getting that through. Malente not wanting to continue there with the gut shot on a monotone board. You've just missed the most ruffly hand ever, Andy. So Christian, our man, the king of the mountains from Hungary, he's 4x'd it in mid position with King 7 off. Been in the hijack with King 7 off. Been 3-bet to 3.5x sizing by Connor on the button, who had Ace Queen. The flop comes Queen 10 3 with 2 diamonds. Connor's got Ace Queen with the Ace of diamonds. Christian's still got the King 7 off. Checks. Connor C bets. Christian 3x check raises. No diamond in his hand. Gets a call. Turn card comes to Jack, giving him an open ender. He bets half pot, gets called. The river comes a king, giving him top pair on a 4 straight board, and Connor the nut straight. And he bets again, third pot, and then calls a jam for an extra 70 big blinds. It was absolutely sensational. It was absolute carnage. 2k pot there just given to Connor. Ooh, Stefan with a loosey-goosey peel here, just flatting what looks like any suited ace. Under the gun 1 plus versus under the gun. Don't try this at home, kids. Carroll's in there, too wide. Tudor's the only one with a reasonable hand so far. And Tudor Ake in seat 1, defending the big blind with pocket sixes. Goodness knows what Christian's got, but we're not going to be able to see as of yet. Top pair there for Tudor, and Stefan flops a combo draw, any 10, any heart. It's going to be the business for him. I think we want to be checking the ace-king here, multi-way, 6 players in the pot. So many combos of better hands out there. It's, you know, we're not going to get 3 streets with our hand. It definitely seems like a bit of an overplay. Although I've not really done the study on 6-way spots and deep stack cash. Bets for information, yep. And gets a peel from Sam with the bottom end of the gut shot and a backdoor flush draw. I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm pretty sure he must have folded. Stefan improving to the flush on the turn. Yeah, Sam's out the pot, thank God. Turn's gone check, check. Stefan checking back that nut flush. Don't mind that, there's a 1 SPR. Can certainly gain some more information from your opponent's hand, whether he bets the river or not. His opponent might be checking some of his kings and queens on the turn, potentially pocket jacks. So now he's basically been given the green light that he's always going to have the best hand here. I don't think people are balancing this river checking range on this board particularly well, so of course the nut flush will be best. Elects to go for a sizing of 100. And I'm struggling to think what Tudor could beat here when he gets called under the gun 1, gets called on the flop, and gets to the river here. Come on, mate, don't pay him off. Yes, nice discipline lay down there from Tudor. Just want to see what you're playing, mate. Had you on ace king, calling for the chop. Do let us know where you guys are tuning in for. We've had a guy called Tim tuning in from Mexico City, which is pretty cool. Said he's playing some of the cash games out there, traveling around, professional photographer, and plays poker on the side to pay for his traveling. So always love to hear stories like that, what you guys are up to and how you found out about the Cash Game Festival. Going strong now, going into next year. We've got stock planned in London as of February. Be at the Aspers Casino once again. So looking forward to that one. Might see a bit of Andy Wilson on stream potentially in some 2-5 or 5-10, if we're lucky. We'll get Sapiano and Terry Jordan to come and play 5-10. So Carroll with the 8-2. Not sure if he's tired, drunk, or both. Definitely seems a little bit on the sloppier side. 10s for Connor. Another playable hand for him, popping it up under the gun 1 to 15. Ooh, and Sam with the Cowboys. And definitely going to be getting some action pre-flop, 200 big blinds deep.
Seat 3, fold. Seat 4, fold.
Pretty standard, just call here for Connor. I don't think 4-betting really achieves anything with 10s. We're going to take a flop, and it's the two guys from England battling it out. And both of them are going to be fairly pissed off with that one. Although Sam looks to want to bet. Goes for half pot. Connor decides he's not going to do anything with the 10s and just lets him have it.
Masa 18 în deschidere pentru potrivit Toma Chești, blinduri 2-2, mini buy-in 200 de euro.
As you can see there, chip counts. Connor once again storming the show up to the tune of 1.3k. Did get a little bit of a donation there from Mr. Georgi in seat 4. But nevertheless, he'll take it. Connor popping it up to 10 with the King 7 off. No, that'll be the straddled. Tudor coming along for the ride. And Christian looks like he's got some ideas here with the Jack 6 suited. Alex to make it 80, and Carroll's got the dream spot here. Ace Queen versus a verified lunatic. It's going to be playing very nicely in position. Just elects to call. Doesn't want to fold out any of the 3-bet bluffs that Christian might have. They are almost 200 big blinds deep. And that's a great flop for Carroll. Top pair with a backdoor queen high flush draw. And Christian, the man's got heart. He's not going to be giving up just yet. Looks like 120 to go, which is 2/3 pot. Hoge 751. Connor is the winner at the moment. He's up 3k in the last over the last 3 sessions, including this one. He needs a 350 big blind profit to have a chance of claiming that Cash Game Festival trophy. So a call from Carroll here, flopping top. Oh, and now this might get interesting as Christian backdoors himself a Jack high flush draw and adds a gut shot to the mix as well. And this is going to get barreled off, I think, for sure. No problem. Thanks for tuning in, Hoge. Of course, Carroll won't be going anywhere after some of the stuff that you've seen between Christian and Connor in that 2k hand before. And does elect to move all in. And Christian's got himself into a weird spot here. He's getting around about the price. It's to call 575 to win a pot of roughly 2k. No Swedes on the table, I don't think, although we'll certainly see some Swedes in the mix for the Sveten stream tomorrow. Looking forward to commentating on that one as ever. Very nice jam from Carroll here, deciding that there's just so much trash in his opponent's range on the double flush board. Doesn't want to face an all-in on the river or potentially a plethora of dodgy cards for his hand. It would be a hell of a cooler if he was beaten this spot based on what we've seen from Christian so far. Yeah, and he does stack off with the combo draw. Are they going to run it once or twice? And that's the first one for Carroll, just running it once by the looks of things. And 2k pot incoming for the man from Bratislava. And was a little bit of a sweaty river. Some of the hands that he could have, like 9x of clubs, got there, which he might have been worried about. But nevertheless, ships that one and takes it home. Ordvan! Doesn't look like a reload there from Christian, and just a load of €1 chips. So I'm not sure if he's gonna. Oh, there's a couple more chips there to his underneath his left hand. Johnny's not going to be happy. Who is apparently his backer. Ordvan. So Tudorek, 8-6 of clubs, far too wide from +2. However, does elect to open, and Stefan with a smallish 3-bet here. Ace Jack off. Indeed, indeed. So Tudorek flopping top pair, and Stefan's had a real swing and a miss at that one. If we're c-betting the ace jack off here, I think we're just about c-betting everything, which I don't like as a strategy on this particular board texture, the monochrome board. Does find the miracle ace on the turn, of course, though. And an offsuit one at that, so let's see if he does go for another barrel. Now he makes the best hand and checks. And Tudorek checks again, just trying to get that 8 to showdown. Should probably think he's got the best hand after that action, but nevertheless, there is the ace jack from Stefan taking down the pot. Small one of 137. And that definitely tells you a lot about the caliber of the game when the small pots are 30 big blind pots. It's been absolutely rip-roaring so far. So Tudor opening up with the ace jack under the gun 2. Gets a call from our man Christian, who's just on the €45 stack. 8 on the turn, improving any hand with a 9 in it. Oh, it looks like Christian must have folded. See if Carol's Thin Valley bet on the river gets called. Turn card is an 8, I think, by the way. And he does just call with Ace Jack, so manages to get the value from second pair on a 4 straight board. And it's good to see the English boys engineering some of the conversation on the table. Carol looks like he's just waiting for a chance to get involved in that, but can't get a word in edgeways with the old Royd there. There we go. Finally found his chance. So 8-6 suited for Stefan in the hijack, popping it up. Sam with the King 9 in the small blind, not going to be doing anything there. And Malinte, not a playable hand for him either, so let's see if we are going to see some more of Christian, who is only sat with 9 big blinds at the moment in a relatively deep stack 2-5 game apart from that. Connor's up 250 big blinds, so he needs to make another 500 by the end of the stream to get himself a 1K package to a cash game festival of his choice. So Carol once again opening it up 220 and just taking it down 2-8, not wanting any of it with the ace 9 off in the big blind. So two-door flopping pretty well, having defended the big blind here with the Queen Jack. Malinte once again has top pair. I think he's had top pair in every hand he's played so far. So that's a nice spot to be in. Tudor electing to just call. I think we can certainly work some check raises in with the Queen Jack here. 2 overcards, an open ender. We can definitely have 9-5 suited, 10-5 suited, 2 pairs and sets. I think 10s and 9s, of course, 3 bets, sorry. So it's a decent board for us, but fairly neutral. And Malinte electing to go for the double barrel now, picking up a straight draw of his own. Just betting third pot, just wants to, target weaker hands than his weak top pair. And the river goes check, check, of course, and it's going to take down another medium-sized pot, is Malente. Not been in a big one yet, but just slowly grinding away, flopping top pair and taking it down. It's not a bad strategy. So Christian with the ace queen under the gun. Looks like a couple more chips have been added. Yeah, he's in for another 1,000 by the looks of things. Gets a call out of Sam, who is sat in the hijack. I think Sam will definitely be widening up his range as an adjustment versus Christian, who's playing a lot of hands and has just come back from dusting off 2K in 2 separate spots and just seems to be playing absolutely everything. So it's a shame that we haven't got the graphics. Oh, here we go. Christian actually has the nuts. What's going on? And goes for the bet on the turn after checking the flop and getting absolutely nothing out of Sam's king high. Didn't fancy a piece of it. So Carroll with the jack-8 suited under the gun. Looks like he's going to let that one go. I don't know if they're playing 6. Yeah, it'd be a bit too wide. They'd probably open jack-9 6-handed. I think they might even be 7-handed, so it's way too wide. And Tudor finding the queen. No messing around. Odd fun, €3,000. We shall soon see. Did manage to pick up a hand there. Unfortunately, got no action out of Sam, but I'm rooting for Christian. I think he's great for the game. So swing and a miss for just about everyone here. but Tudorek with the pre-flop betting lead does find himself 2 overs and a backdoor flush draw. Versus both of the blinds, though, I think you need to be a little bit more reserved in terms of your continuing ranges. Christian's just going to float one off with the 10 high, and not really too sure why. Hopefully, just hoping to get a check back on the turn so we can bluff the river, I guess. Odd van indeed. Here we go. This is what we pay to see, guys. Manages to get the king high to fold and did indeed just have the absolute razz with the 10-9. He's probably thinking that he can represent more fours than his opponent can, who's just going to c-bet a little bit too much. I don't mind the c-bet there with the king 8. Get ace highs and king highs to fold. You've got a backdoor straight draw and a backdoor flush draw. Quacky 3, thanks very much for joining us, pal. Hello to yourself. What are you up to? What's Twitch Turbo? I've not seen that. Ad-free viewing, chat badge. What's the difference? Just chat-free viewing and some other stuff like emojis, emotes and stuff. So 10, 8, 9 here. Great flop for Christian, who is on the hunt for those 2,000 euros back. Actually has a hand this time and should get some action from Tudor, who's flopped an open-ender. Stefan in there with the 2 over cards, a gut shot and a backdoor flush draw. He might come along for the 50 as well. Not sure. I think Tudor's moving all in with the ace-jack. Thinks that Christian's just got too much horseshit in there and fancies his chances. Odd van. Yeah, it's the guy from Odd Van. Who made that incredible bluff on the EPT FT. Oh, and he's running bad, getting it in with the goods, and sees the 7 on the river, which is a bit of a disaster for him. What is Odd Van? Is that the where he's from, or Odd Van? I remember it being the shout, but what does it mean again? Is it like King of the Mountains or something? Or is that something else he said? Yeah, I think it's Hungarian. I'm just trying to remember what it is Hungarian for. So this is it. Sam finding the 4-bet here with the ace-king. And Christian's actually got it this time. Finding pocket jacks, and we've seen him do it in with much less than this. So this is going to be heading to the races, boys and girls. Ace-king and hearts for Sam. And the underpair. Classic situation. Are they going to run it more than once? I'm not sure. Christian does seem to like to gamble. Oh, and a good start for Christian here. Needs to fade the 10 and the 10 only on the river. And it's the 3 of clubs, so he does win that one. Gets himself back in the mix and reduces some of his losses so far. Would be in for 3,000 now, back up to 1,500. Unfortunate one for Sam there, who an unavoidable situation, especially how wide Christian's been 3-betting. And regardless, it's just going in, isn't it? Ot van Basmeg. Yanni's happy. Won some money back there. Is he saying there it is as in the hand that he's just shown? So it's essentially complete rub down for what was the other guy called? Jazonis. Very aggressive. We do like it though. So pumping it up. Yeah, just a needle. There it is. Eat that. Tudor pumping it up with the 9-8 suited, getting 3-bet from Carol, I guess. Does tend to 3-bet these hands every time. It's something that you don't want to be doing. Needs to be a bit more of a mix, and I think that is a classic live no limit hold'em player tendency to just always be 3-betting the ace jack off and hands like that, not really working in a percentage of the time or randomizing it. So Tudor flopping middle pair here, does have a backdoor gut shot as well, so definitely will be coming along for just a flop bet of third pot. Very inconsequential 3 of clubs on the turn. Carol needs to now decide whether he is going to try and put Tudor in a spot here or wave the white flag. Does block some hands like King Jack of Hearts, but not enough, I don't think, to start going ham with it. Also beats some hands as well. Queen Jack, Jack 10, Queen 10. Carol inquiring how much he's got. Looks like he's just going to put him in. Very fishy line here, because you would have thought that now he's basically representing a flush or a set. You would have thought that a lot of those would have barreled the turn. A lot of those kind of hands would have barreled the turn. 4 doesn't really change too much. So the check bet over bet jam. Bet check over bet jam line here. Quacky3 says, are these players pros? I know that Carol here in seat 5 is a professional. Sam Clark, who does the YouTube channel, I'll just link you to that. He's also a pro, plays live cash in Manchester. Connor plays and bets on sports for a living. And I think Tudor is pondering this one over, thinking, what the hell has he got? He's not going to play a hand like Ace-King this way. He's not going to play Kings this way. 6-7 suited would be a bit sick, but it does pick up a double gutter on the turn and probably would barrel with just a 7 high. And there are a lot of missed gut shots as well that may have elected to check back the turn. Opvan is a pro. Mr. Opvan. I'd look at the tender mode. He only cashed one event since that massive score. Oh, and does find the fold there. His instincts were right, but just didn't quite have the conviction there, and Carroll gets away with one massively with a pretty suspect line. No problem, pal. I like what Sam's doing. There's definitely a niche in the market and a spot for him as a UK vlogger. There's not an awful lot of content coming out of the UK poker-wise, and there's a hell of a lot of action. So, did manage to get himself a little free seat from Grosvenor as well for doing a vlog for them, which was a 550. So, you know, plenty of good things that can come from, you know, getting yourself a platform like that. Do I play live poker? Yeah, I play live Omaha Cash for a living. Dabble with Hold'em and a bit of online, but mostly my best game is live 4 and 5 card Omaha. How about yourself, Quacky? What's going on here? There's a very exaggerated fold there from Connor with the King-Queen. Tudor may be a little bit pissed off at the fact that he did fold that middle pair, deciding just to rip it in. Sometimes 6-card triple board. One of my better games. If the Heart River every 5 and the deck's a joker, yeah, that kind of shit tilts the fuck out of me. We were playing 6-card where you've got like past two cards on the turn to your left or something, but your opponent picks them, and Bobby James has ended up completely doing it into me on an ace 8-8 board with just an 8, and then takes both of my aces off of me when we're all in on the turn. Sam deciding to turn his gut shot on a flush draw into a turn stab and gets a better hand to fold, so pretty good decision there. the British boys are just having a little bit of a joke, saying that he's finally won a pot. So folds round completely the whole way by the looks of things. Oh no, we do have Christian, of course, in the double straddle, and he's going to get a complete walk. Everyone had pilot. Oh my god. No, what's going on? Okay, Carol's opened. Here we go. So Carol's in. Oh, they're on the 50 straddle there. What's going on? They've got. Let's just try and work this out, right? So it's 2, 5, 10, 25, 50. 2040. Carol's going to ISO with the King 10. Connor looks down at the 4 deuce off, so he's out the mix. And Christian in there playing an absolute blinder, limping in with the aces. What? Oh. So Christian calls the 40 straddle. Carol pumps it up to 4x, and now Christian is going to put him in a bit of a spot here. Let's see what sizing he goes for. I don't mind the option to just call. I think your hand looks so strong when you do this, and you're not going to be working in many bluffs that it is only on the 40 straddle. He's got 35 big blinds, so I think I'd really like to protect our limb calling range there by working in some aces, and especially versus Carol, who's been playing really aggressive so far this stream. I want to give him a chance to hang himself there. Queen Jack for Malinte, popping it up from the hijack, and let's see if he can continue his form of flopping top pair every hand he's played. Are we going to see a queen or a jack for Malinte? No, but he does flop an open ender and has backdoor clubs to boot as well. So Christian also with the backdoor flush draw. Tudor rake has middle pair, and not a lot going on for Stefan. Backdoor straights and backdoor flush draws. Odd one. Here we go. Does actually have the best hand, which is surprising. Checks again. Malinte is thinking, how the hell am I going to get this guy to fold anything? But does go for the double barrel by the looks of things, 100 into 140. And Christian not improving with any additional equity. Not going to be hanging around there with just ace-4 off. So some money changing hands there between Connor and Sam, potentially asking for another top-up. And the man there in seat 6, Connor, does have plenty of it, up to the tune of about 3k across the last couple of days. Not a bad life. A very successful trip for him so far, so I'm glad to see that. Unfortunately, the opposite for Sam, but you know, he is playing well, and it's all part of the journey in poker to go through those sort of mini downswings. Just have to eat it up and deal with it. He said that he's been running really hot and playing really well at his local 1-1 deep game in 235. Had something like 12 out of 15 winning sessions and all decent wins as well. And come here and every session's been a losing one so far, but you know, he will bounce back. He's a good player, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of the content that he's going to be putting out. We did announce today that he's going to be joining us as a brand ambassador for the Cash Game Festival, and I'm looking forward to that affiliation and link up in the future. So Tudorake with that middle pair, improving to an open ender on the turn to go with it. Looks like he's bet 40. Can't quite see what Connor's up to, but he has checked back the flop. Sorry, he's called the flop. Possibly going to have a hand like kings, queens, or jacks, by the way he's played this. Checking flop, check calling flop, check calling turn. Ace 2, okay. It's pretty much the same as kings, queens, or jacks in terms of strength, I guess.
Floor. That's 500 euros.
Once again, a bag of dicks for pretty much everyone at the table. Folds around to Christian on the button. He'll be playing this one, that's for sure. Did play two very questionable hands, but has since redeemed himself, winning a flip all-in pre to get back to 1500. 1600 he's on now. Pops it up to 20. Carol calls from the small blind with ace-7 offsuit. I think it's a hand I'd prefer to 3-bet than call. Doesn't play very well out of position. But he might be a little bit wary of the fact that his opponent literally just doesn't fold the 3-bets. Does flop top pair though, and probably might get a couple of barrels out of Christian here, who picks up the gut shot to the nuts. It continues the flop for 50. There's no raising to be done or folding obviously for Carol, so just comes along. Connor, absolutely none of it with the 10-7 of hearts. Ace on the turn, another good card for Carol, of course. And Christian may think that he might want to start betting to try and fold out some Jack-X type hands here. Carol thinking about Vegas and the Mirage, just taking his time. Flicks it in nonchalantly just to try and maybe induce another barrel. And King Queen gets there, but Christian does river some small amount of showdown value and sees the bad news. Christian there you can see with the highest VPIP, but pretty solid looking VPIPs all round mostly. And guys, do feel free to go and follow some of our stuff over on social media for for Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. It's .com/cashgamefestival, and for Twitter it's .com/cashfestival. Stefan here in the third position, popping it up with the 8s. And Christian's got more ideas with the King 5. 3-betting the King 5 offsuit to what looks like 60, 65. And Carroll once again picking up a really nice hand on him in position here.
Seat 5 call, seat 7 fold.
Just going to leave you with Sam for this one. Sam, the feature table has finished in real time. And so you'll be able to give some insights on some of the hands, I guess.
Yep.
The lot. How do I get out?
Traps. Me and you, is it, Sam?
Looks like. Joined in the booth by Connor, also coming straight from the stream. Doing slightly better than me. And by slightly, I mean thousands.
It's not been your week, mate.
Still to have a winning session at the Cash Game Festival Bucharest. Oh, just the absolute lot for Stefan. In the chat, any excuse for George to piss off and get a bev? Fraud. Stefan comes in with the raise, and that should be that for this hand.
Stop giving it away. You already know what happens, Sam.
I wasn't even paying attention at this point. I was sat steaming. And there's Moritz, which usually means we're approaching the last 3 hands of the stream. What do you think of the table in as a whole, then, Connor?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Carroll, I've got quite a lot of experience playing against. He's a reg in Bratislava.
Yeah, it seemed very solid.
Yeah, me and George frequent the Banco Casino in Bratislava, and he's a very solid reg there. Definitely a winning player, and you know, I'm just happy I was in position against him, basically. But you know, you've got players like Christian, very bluff heavy. Yeah, as we say that,
Pretty reasonable call from Christian here. With the,
as we say that, he's
the limp call.
The worst of it.
Just absolutely smashes us straight on the flop, as you do.
Any excuse for George to piss off and get a bev, he's onto me, isn't he, Andy?
I actually don't like how I played this hand. I was just going to check again here and do a check call, and then decided he's going to have a lot of pocket pairs that can probably get off with 2 bets here. Don't know why I thought Christian was going to fold the pocket pair to 2 bets.
Oh, did he just flop the absolute?
Oh yeah, he's just
flop?
absolutely flopped us straight. Yeah.
limp 3-4 off.
Then I pick up the.
Absolutely love it.
I only raised to 7x pre, so what do you expect? And then pick up the flush draw on the turn and bet to push the equity. Christian calls, obviously, setting the trap for the river, which he finds the absolute perfect card for me to bluff, and strongly consider giving it up.
But did you, Sam?
I did not. Just absolutely rifling 150 that I'm never going to see again. See you later. Bye.
So he just snap you off, does he?
Yeah, I think it's already in. Oh wow, it's actually not. There we go. I was just like, seems reasonable.
The face on it.
The face is to be like,
The
sorry,
face
mate.
is like,
Cool,
yeah,
of course.
I did just get there with 3-4 off on the flop.
I just absolutely flop nuts. Seems reasonable. Just an absolute masterclass in how to lose the most money in every single hand for me.
It's been tough to watch, mate.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I like your little celebration when you won that small pot. Fist bump. Yeah.
I was absolutely made up for the lad.
It was a nice.
Absolutely made up for him. You do get in spots where you're just like, I can't win a hand.
Yeah.
Poker. Ever.
Like, how do you win money at poker? Like, I've actually forgotten what it's like.
How do you win a hand?
How do you leave the table with more than you sat down with? That would be a nice thing to do.
It's an art. That's
I think that was me just explaining to Connor at the table there that I'm one hand away from a Helmuth blower.
Yeah. Yeah. As you was down in your wine.
Yeah, absolutely chugging it.
Bradley Swiggins.
Yeah, violins are out. Can we get some violins in chat? Thank you very much.
Christian with the discipline fold there, deuce 9 suited.
This guy runs so good, by the way. He's flopped top pair or decent equity in every hand he's played in.
Who, Malinti?
Yeah. Just always got top pair.
I was playing with him on the 1-2 for a while.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, solid.
Yeah, didn't make many mistakes.
No. Absolutely bluffed me off of the set.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, it was
Malinti
nice.
did. It was a really nice bluff with the blocker to the nut straight and had to fold bottom set against him. Really nice bet.
Ouch. Yeah. You know it's gonna be right. Some of the stuff that was going on in the chat earlier when that guy was just fully doing it in, wasn't he?
Which one?
Christian.
Yeah, and
What
then,
are they saying?
ironically, he calmed down after I just gave him €700.
Yeah. I think it might have been his last 1,000. He was really sweating it at the table.
No problem, Jack in the window. See you later, Sam.
We've got a straddle pot here up to 40. I decide to make a pretty loose limp.
What was your plan here, Connor? It was the old limp jam in his eye.
Yeah,
right?
limp jam.
What was this on the 40 straddle?
Yeah.
Didn't jam it for the lot to try and get the
Well, we've got a bet here from Malinti. It's not showing on the graphics for some reason. Here he is with Ace Jack. The plan was to just shove it into
Of course.
bet.
Oh,
And
wow.
How do you,
Luckily-
by the way, he was good, he wasn't going to straddle his hand, and he said, and he was getting peer pressured into it by a Christian, and he says, "I'll do it if you don't put on the double straddle." And then just as the dealer started dealing the cards, he quickly snipes
That's
in
true.
the double straddle.
That's true.
And the triple straddle goes in, and he's like, "Oh!" And then he just gets aces. Must be nice.
That's true. He did not want to play a straddle
Nah,
part,
did
and
not
he's
wanna play it.
been calling me tight all week. This fella.
Look at that breathing pattern. Jesus, he's absolutely.
He's like trying to lean back and look really calm, and he's absolutely hyperventilating. He's absolutely got aces in a triple straddle
Just
pot.
looks on edge, doesn't he? You know, some people do that with the bluff, and some people do that when they've got value. I guess it's one of those guys.
Yeah.
So, Stefan, why such a big raise as well?
No, it's not. That's, the graphics aren't right.
Yeah, Malinte raised, right?
Malinti raised to 175, and Stefan pretty much puts in a min click to
Just
340.
flicks it back.
Yeah, so yeah, it went limp. My limp 40.
Christian folded sixes. Yeah,
And,
what's going on there?
It's a raise on the button.
Is he feeling alright? At least he didn't start screaming, "I am Georgi from the mountains" when he stacked me. That helps.
Someone in the chat said that they're staking him.
Really?
Yeah,
Staking who?
a guy called Isfan from Bratislava.
They're staking who, sorry?
Christian.
Staking Christian.
Yeah. Guy's won 200 bags.
Well, he did.
Yeah.
He did win
18
200
months
bags.
ago.
That's a fact.
Surely that's not been tilted off.
Carol's asking me there if I straddle 20, will you put in 40, Con? And I was like, I've literally dusted off like €100 through straddles today, so not for me.
I don't think he got backed for that EPT. I think he just won a free roll landing.
Oh yeah, like he got the absolute lot, and fair play to him. But
Yeah.
I think
Absolute
when I was
balls
speaking
of
to him,
steel.
I I met him in March, I think it was, and I think he said to me that he free rolled a sat. He then won that sat, and I think he might have won another sat into a sat.
Yeah.
And
like
then
8
he
sats into sats, and then he's at the EPT.
and he just gets there and just pulls off like the best, not the best, but
One of the best spin-ups going.
my favourite bluff of all time. Just absolutely putting
Yeah.
it in.
If anyone hasn't seen that, by the way, what is it? Final table Monte Carlo bluff. If you put that on into YouTube, you'll find it.
Yeah, it's well worth a watch. It's
He's surrounded by absolutely sicko pros and just goes absolutely wild with 2-7 for the banter.
yeah, it's you probably there isn't a more ridiculous bluff in poker, is there?
I've never seen one.
It's just impossible,
Have you
really.
seen the one?
How has Stefan got kings now? I think I saw a king once this session, and then
He's taking the piss, isn't he?
having an
waking up
absolute
with
giggle. He had aces 2 hands ago. Jesus, must be nice.
Getting no action though, because everyone knows he's a filthy nit.
I was thinking at this point, this free betting strategy from the small blind's really working for Stefan. He just happens to have had it every
Yeah.
time.
Did we hold, Andy? Ace-3 off. What a dust. I guess he covered you or something.
Why do you do that?
PKO. Don't know why he's firing 33 big blinds in.
Yes. Pretty wide open from me here. Just fancied getting some money in. I knew we were coming to the end. And I knew Christian would be calling with the Raz.
Semi-sweat for the package if you can win like 600 or 700 euros at this point.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so you've got to play a suited hand for sure.
Yeah. For those that don't know, there was a package in play for the player that won the most big blinds in one session. We had a chap on the first day who won, I believe it was 345 big blinds.
Yeah, something like that.
So in total he came out with 2.8k, I think, from 1,000. Some of our bigger stacks here we are chasing that because it's a 1k package to the next Cash Game Festival for anyone that can beat the 345 big blinds.
Yeah. Christian called pre-flop after just seeing one card here, which was either a 3 or 4, and then decided to call. And then doesn't have a lot to work with.
What little table he's on now? What's the plan later, boys? We're getting blitzed again?
Yes,
Probably, yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Go back for freeze at the apartment.
No, I'll just
Just go straight out.
gonna have a bottle of wine here and just.
You're an absolute savage.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
The absolute
Controversial. Controversial from Connor.
Georgie's back. Yeah, we know. There's a guy in the chat.
C2 call.
Can't bum hunt back players.
Why?
See about that.
That burger is immense.
Yeah, I've just seen that.
State of it.
Sloppy as fuck.
State of that burger.
So when Maritz came, did he say 3 hands or?
I believe so. We're getting quite close.
I think we're down to the last three.
Yeah, when the button gets to me, it's finished, I think.
Okay, so Christian
Also
popping
the
it
big
up
one.
on what I guess. And out flops Carol here. We got a load of straddles in play or something.
I don't think so.
No? Why is it so much money in going in free then?
I think there was. I
he
think
just
there's
did that sometimes.
I think there's a 10 straddle Christian just.
He just likes to raise to
Pumped it.
8x when he's got
Pumped
a
it, yeah.
decent hand, yeah, when he's got a pair.
And why not?
On Carol.
Especially when you're just going to get 3 streets of value.
Carol's going to come along. So Christian now find himself on a double flush board.
And just betting again, he just knows it's good.
I think I don't know what to say, but yeah.
What are you doing as Carroll here?
I mean, it's just got
tough one, innit?
So much crap in his range.
Yeah, he's just got so much air. And you're in position. If it goes check on the river.
Into a bluff if a spade comes or something like that. Like, I mean,
2 outs to the absolute world.
Well,
that
you
is
can
not
absolutely brick it like that.
it. Yeah. There's a funny face at showdown here, I think. Check, check.
Carroll knows he's beat her, I think.
Yeah. Probably didn't expect to be beat by that exact hand, though.
oh, sorry.
Well, I do believe we're down to the last 3 hands. Oh, okay. This is okay. It's an interesting spot here. As I mentioned earlier, the whoever can win more than 345 big blinds in a session will get the 1K package to the next Cash Game Festival.
So you're in for 1,000, right?
Yeah, I'm in for 1,000. I've won.
You need 2.5.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
So
profit, isn't it?
So me and Carroll have a bit of a cheeky conversation here. We say that if it folds round to us, small blind versus big, do you want to do a 1K flip for the essentially for the package, because it'll be the last 2 hands. This is, we've not looked at our hands.
Negotiations going on.
Negotiations going on.
Because he's up as well.
Well, yeah. So if either of us win this a 1K flip, we will win the package essentially.
Right, okay.
So this is a conversation I'm having with Carroll now. We'll let you know. Well, you'll soon see.
Okay,
no spoilers.
No spoilers. So offered him the 1K flip.
He's got the king forward. It's a pretty good hand.
He doesn't know this, obviously.
Yeah. If he did, I wonder if he would have gone for it.
What, and then you get a sweat of the other guy's package, or is it just literally a 1K flip?
It's essentially a 1K flip because there's the EV of the 1K package. You know, it just essentially it does make sense. Like
you're both printing.
You're getting a free roll for a coin flip basically, and you're just paying the rake. Carroll doesn't decide to have it. I think I'm massive here.
Apparently not.
Apparently not. I'm giving Carroll the business of it here. I'm sure he'll forgive me. I thought we'd be all over it.
Yeah.
I thought we.
You said you thought you had it in the locker.
I thought you had it in your locker, Carroll. That was my words. But I can't really blame him. I think.
He's been getting a lot in Bratislava for years.
Oh, he's absolutely. He really gets a lot. But I think if we both had stacks of like 2.3, I think if it was the smallest, like let's say a €500 flip, I think you would have went for it. Yeah, but for 1K, it is a lot of money for just one flip, you know.
Yeah.
And he might be thinking, I'm not going to, I might not be able to make the next trip, you know. So fair enough. Can't slate him too much for that.
They've put on a free bar in a nightclub tonight, by the way.
Really?
Right, we're having it.
Yeah.
Well, that's that settled then.
So
that's the plans for the night.
Lads, this is the last hand. Me, George, and Sam will be getting on it, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, Dad, who's watching.
No, you're not. Alright, so Christian finds ace queen in the last hand.
Yeah.
Probably going to get some action from Stefan, unless he just wants to lock up.
Decent profit. I think he's in. I could be wrong. Is he in for 5?
He's in for like 3 or 5. Yeah.
Yeah. So
small.
yeah, good.
Nice session for him.
Yeah, good session
Absolutely
for
Just
Stefan.
lets it go and
Take it down.
thinks, oh fuck it, I'll take the money. And
Right, I'll leave you with George. It's been fun the last 15 minutes, just pissing around on air. But I'll leave you with George, guys, and Sam.
No problem.
Thank you in the chat. Looks like it's been very active. We've been getting some good energy from the chat today.
Yeah, absolutely. Always. Got some good guys in there. Thanks, Andy, for tuning in. Guys, do stick around tomorrow because we're going to have 3 streams. We're going to have a 1-3 Hold'em stream to kick things off, followed by what is the next one? 5 card 5-5, and then we also do have a Sviten stream as well, which is 5 card Omaha mixed with 5 card draw. It's a great game. Looking forward to seeing you guys there. Signing out from the Cash Game Festival, and we've got day 4 tomorrow very shortly. See you later.
Cash Game Festival in Bratislava, day 5.
And you still have a chance to join it.